Good evening, you're watching the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. First, the headlines. The Sultanate's gross domestic product increases by 10% during the second quarter of 2021 to reach 15.3 billion Omani riyals. And the Sultan Qaboos University advances to the 7th place on the level of Arab universities in the QS University ranking. Those were the headlines. Now for the news in detail. The Sultanate's gross domestic product have increased by 10% during the second quarter of this year, reaching 15 billion and 300 million Omani riyals. This increase in GDP came as a result of an increase in the average oil price by about 9.9%. The price of a barrel went from $51.01 to $56.02 in the second quarter of this year. According to the National Center for Statistics and Information, the in-country value of oil activities recorded an increase of 354 million Omani riyals, recording about 4 billion and 400 million Omani riyals. Whereas non-oil activities in the country value increased by about 11.1% compared to the second quarter of last year, thus recording 11 billion and 500 million Omani riyals. The total domestic production of natural gas have increased by the end of August of this year by 10.9% compared to the same period last year to reach 33,667,000 square meters. According to the National Center for Statistics and Information, this leap is due to the increase of associated gas by 30.4%. reaching 6,280,000 square meters compared to 4,760,000 square meters last year. Non-associated gas have also increased by 7.3%, reaching 27,459,000 square meters. Sultan Qaboos University achieved a new progress on the QS Global University ranking, occupying the 7th place at the level of Arab universities after it was in the 8th place for 2 years. The university preserved its ranking among the best 10 Arab universities in competitive environment as 181 Arab universities from 18 countries entered the global ranking this year. Oman Vision 2040 requires more Omani universities to work their way into the top 500 universities and QS ranking. Under the theme Empowering Women in the Society, Oman Women Forum was organized that coincides with the Sultanate's celebration of the Omani Women Day, which falls on the 17th of October each year. During the event, a number of work papers were presented in 2 sessions, discussing topics such as legal regulations, innovation, and entrepreneurship. The forum also dealt with social and psychological challenges facing women in the society, women political participation, and empowering women economically. The Office of Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, in the Sultanate praised the Sultanate's commitment to transferring its food and agricultural systems in response to the call from the United Nations Food Systems Summit convened last September. Her Excellency Noura Qurba Haddad, the office representative, said that the food and agricultural systems are at the heart of sustainable development, pointing out the sustainable food system which provides food for all without touching the economic, social, and environmental foundations as to produce food security for upcoming generations. This came during a celebration held by FAO office in the Sultanate marking the World Food Day for 2021, which falls on the 16th of October each year. This year, it focuses on 4 pillars: better production, better nutrition, better environment, and a better life. The Royal Army of Oman continues its field efforts to open the roads and clear any debris through the engineering service and the Sultan's armed forces. In coordination with the military subcommittees for emergency management and the governorates of North and South al-Batina, the works continue to bring back life to normal in the cyclone-hit areas. The main military committee for emergency management in its meeting discussed the ongoing procedures and field works, including the national efforts to deal with the impacts of the tropical condition. The meeting focused on the status of main services in the governorates of North and South al-Batina in coordination with the National Emergency Management Committee. During the meeting, the main military committee for emergency management directed to quickly complete the remaining support and field works in both governorates as to bring back the situation in the affected wilayas to normal. The engineering services at the Ministry of Defense transported a number of heavy equipment of the Public Authority for Civil Defense and ambulance to speed up the opening of main and sub-roads in the cyclone-hit wilayas, in addition to removing the debris and mud on the roads to facilitate traffic movement for citizens and residents. This came within the plans of the main military committee for emergency management in dealing with the impacts of the cyclone Shaheen. Still to come on News Bulletin. A Darwin family-owned microscope is to be sold at an auction. Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. New Zealand held a national festival to encourage people to get COVID-19 vaccinations today and wound up administering a record number of vaccine jabs. Musicians, sports stars, and celebrities pitched in the Vaxathon event. Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern, who paid a visit to a medical facility in Wellington, initially set a target of 100,000 jabs for the day, but upped that to 150,000 after the first target was met. She also set a target of 25,000 shots for the indigenous Maori, whose vaccination numbers have been lagging and who have been hit hard by the latest outbreak. National airline Air New Zealand converted a Boeing 787 Dreamliner plane into a vaccination clinic for the day in Auckland, issuing people with the boarding passes to go on what the staff dubbed Flight NZ-Vax. In Queenstown, the old steamship Earnslaw was used as a makeshift for the vaccination hub. Dunedin is its own vaccination bus, and in Christchurch, free food and music was on the menu at a drive-through vaccination hub. German Chancellor Angela Merkel met with Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan in Istanbul today. The leaders were expected to discuss Ankara's relationship with Germany and the European Union, as well as regional issues including Syria and Afghanistan. The Chancellor's trip is among her last before she leaves her position. Merkel, who has led Germany since 2005, announced in 2018 that she wouldn't seek a fifth term. Chinese astronauts have begun their 6-month mission on China's first permanent space station after successfully docking aboard their spacecraft. The astronauts, 2 men and a woman, floated around the module before speaking via a live-streamed video today. They are the second crew to move into the new space station, which was launched in April. The first crew spent 3 months at orbiting outpost. China's military-run space program plans to send multiple crews to the station over the next 2 years to make it fully functional. The new crew will do spacewalks to install equipment in preparation for expanding the station, assesses living conditions, and conducting experiments. An earthquake of magnitude 4.8 struck Indonesia's Bali Island today morning, killing at least 3 people. The quake affected the Karangasem and Bangli districts on the eastern side of the tourist island, and a search has been concluded. A landslide triggered by the quake killed 2 of the victims. A third, a 3-year-old girl, was killed by falling debris. Rescue services evacuated people across a lake as the road to the stricken community have been cut off by a landslide. There was no significant damage in other parts of Bali, while the quake was also felt in the neighboring island of Lombok. Bali reopened for international tourists on Thursday after 18 months of pandemic restrictions, but they are only expected to start arriving later this month. A microscope Charles Darwin gave to his son Leonard, which has remained in the family for nearly 200 years, is headed for an auction in December and is expected to fetch up to $480,000. The microscope will be offered at Christie's Valuable Book and Manuscripts auction on December 15th. And has a price estimate of $343,050 to $480,270. The instrument was designed by Charles Gould for the firm Carey around 1825 and is one of 6 surviving microscopes associated with the British naturalist. Charles Darwin is one of the biggest names in the history of science. He published his groundbreaking work on the origin of species in 1859. This is the Sultanate of Oman television. Before we enter tonight's news bulletin, here are the main points once again. The Sultanate's gross domestic product increases by 10% during the second quarter of 2021 to reach 15.3 billion Omani riyals. And the Sultan Qaboos University advances to the 7th place on the level of Arab universities and the QS University ranking. With that, we come to the end of tonight's news bulletin. From all of us here at the newsroom and the studios is good night and stay safe.